I mean, it feels good to be home, just to be at the house, in our practice facility, be able to work on things that we need to work on, have all the tools at our disposal that we need. So it's definitely good to be back. Isaac is a go tonight, yes. It's a hell of a welcome back, right? I mean, no, that's what Isaac does. And that's, is accept all challenges. Going back to last year, we threw him at everybody, different sizes, positions, skill sets. And that's the challenges that he's willing to take. And that's how he knows he can help this team. So he'll go out there, he'll compete with them and make it difficult on him.
Chris Fedor, Cleveland.com. Hey, JB.
What's up, Chris?
So this is the 12th straight game to start the year where the other team is favored over you guys. Do you feel like underdogs? Do you embrace that?
I mean, I think our guys do, and I think you can kind of feel that and see that. But it's not something that we put a lot of thought to. Our guys have embraced who they are and how we play, and that's where our focus is. I'd be hard pressed to believe if you asked our guys what the betting line was on us every night, they'd know what it was. So I think, our mentality is, searching for people's respect. And that's why we go about business the way we go about business.
In any way, do you feel like you're starting to get that?
I honestly couldn't tell you. I don't pay enough attention to, what's being said or what's going on to know the difference. I leave that up to BJ and his crew to figure that out. But we just, we go about business, and that's the only thing that matters. And my thing is with all of our guys and us, is like, it's a long season. You know what I mean? We're 11 games in, 12 tonight. Like, you got to be consistent through the 82, and then you start to have those conversations. So that's all we're focused on, is being the best versions of ourselves, and seeing what's the most we can get out of this team.
Jeff Phelps, West Ohio. JB, with 8 road games out of the first 11, obviously you have to have some real intensity in those road games. Is there a challenge to take that intensity and bring it back home and not think home court advantage is going to take place?
Yeah, I mean, there's always that letdown of being comfortable that you have to avoid. And I think for us, being able to play a home game in front of our crowd, that'll give us some extra incentive and give us a boost, because we have been gone for so long. So, it is a mindset thing where you have to be aware of, and we'll be aware of that early in the game, to see where we are. But again, I expect our guys to come out and compete.
Counselor, so the Athletic, we talked about this when Isaac, before he got injured, and I know it's not his first game back, but when he plays at the 2, what are you looking for him in that role? And obviously, as he gets more comfortable in that, but what's kind of that area of emphasis you're looking for him from there?
I think, Isaac is a basketball player. I think we pigeonhole him, as this defensive linebacker, right? But like, he's a basketball player. He's a very good facilitator. He's a great playmaker. Like, he can make all the reads and pick and roll. So we got to give him the opportunity to play and be a part of the offense and show us how he can impact that end of the floor too, because he's such an unselfish player, that he's going to do whatever he thinks the team needs. And by that, we've got to force a little bit on him, and give him the ball in those situations, put him in some of those dribble handoffs and pick and rolls and things like that, so he can make the next play.
Are those conversations you have to have, because he is so defensive minded, be like, hey, we need you like on the offense then to do those types of things?
More so last year. Obviously it's been short, but like going into the summer and coming out of the summer, like, he was well aware of our expectations and our needs from him. But that was something definitely his rookie year we had to talk to him about.
Tim Alcorn, Cavs Radio. Hey, JB.
What's up, Tim?
Question about Washington. What impresses you about them, and why are they 7-3? What are they doing well?
I mean, I think Wes has done a hell of a job with his team, and getting a group of new guys to buy into something similar. Obviously Bradley Beal is the head of it, and we know what he's capable of doing offensively, and on both ends. But I think they've done a really good job of finding balance of talent in their team. The acquisitions they made, Dinwiddie, Trez, Kuzma, those guys, like they brought in some really good pieces around Bradley Beal. And Gaffer's been playing his tail off, and they put a ton of pressure on you because of the energy that they play with between him and Harrell. So I think it's the balance of their lineups and the talent that they've acquired have made them a better team.
So what's the biggest challenge they present?
We got to win the paint. I think that's what it'll come down to for us. Gafford, Harrell, even Beal and those guys, like they look to get into the paint and attack. And those are offensive rebounds, they're penetrations that create kickouts, it's transition buckets, all those things. So we have to do a great job on the defensive boards and try to keep them out of our paint as much as we can.
J.B. Josh Robbins with The Athletic. What does it mean to you to see what Sunso receive the opportunity he has that he has well earned for many years prior to this?
I couldn't be more pleased. Obviously, like our families go way, way, way back. And we've known each other for a long time. And I know, what type of person he is, first and foremost. I know how hard he's worked. I know how much time he's put into the game. I know the opportunities that, have been there that he hasn't gotten. And I know the opportunities that he probably should have gotten that he didn't. It shouldn't have taken this long for him to get a head coaching job. He is a really talented coach. He knows how to relate to different types of people, get people to buy into something greater than themselves, like, no ego, selfless, like all those things as a person that make great leaders. And, he didn't just become that over this summer. He's been that for a long time. So, I'm happy that he got his opportunity, and I know he'll make the best of it.
I know you've got a lot of other things to worry about, but how cool is it for you to know that two of the central figures of the Washington Bullets 77 and 18 have sons who are coaching against each other tonight?
That's not missed on me. One of the things that, connects me most to the game is the history of the game. And for one, Wes to get that job is even more meaningful to all of us who were a part of that, but it's, those people, those men who came before us that opened doors and opportunities for us, right? You think about what Wes Sr. did, what my dad has done, like they kicked down doors and broke barriers for all of us to get the opportunities that we've got. So we owe it to them to show the game the respect and give it all we got to make sure that we can one day carry that on for somebody else.
Spencer Davies, basketball.com. With Evan, we've talked about his rim protection, we talked about his perimeter defense, passing, but as a scorer, what are you seeing in him as far as his development is going along? Slowly but surely, with obviously the performance he had the other night in New York.
I think he's picking his spots and he's understanding what the defenders are doing and how he can get to his next spot. In the past, when he has the ball in his hand, big guys have really been pressuring him, right? Especially when he's catching the ball at the elbow and those types of things. You saw in the New York game, they tried to do that and he used it against him and was able to beat him to the basket or beat him to the spot to create more offense. So like you're watching him learn on the fly and not only learn, but apply. I think that's the thing that's, that's unique. It's like, in a 1 or 2 game span, he can apply the things that he's learned. A lot of times it takes guys, years to figure it out. But I think that's what we're seeing with him is like, you show him and he sees it, he can apply it quickly.
Does it feel like there's something new every night with him? It feels like, at least from my vantage point, that every night he's doing something different to show you in his development that he can be really, really good.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things like for all of us, it's like the more you're around him, the more you see. Obviously you do your homework and you study the film before, but, there's things that he was doing, when they were playing pickup when he first got here. There's, that he's doing different now. It's like all these things, just being around him, you see what he could be capable of. And, again, for us, that forces us to be determined to get him there and do all that we can every single day to help him become the player that we know he can be.
Yeah, JB, Kevin Love said something the other day that he's starting to get back to himself. With him and Lowry not being around the team because of the situation that they're in, how do you make sure that they're still a part of the team?
It's difficult, right? Like this is more difficult than an injury. When a guy has just an injury, he can come around, he can be in the locker room, he can go on trips, all those things. But, you know, literally having to be in isolation is difficult. You know, we've done our best, you know, the guys, the coaches, to make sure we stay in contact with them and make them feel a part of it. It's funny, like today they were coming to get tested, you know, and we sat in our cars distance having conversations with them about, you know, how they're doing and what's going on. And, you know, the first thing that both of them brought up was how much they missed just being there, you know, and the playing part of it was secondary to them just wanting to be there, you know, and having to watch the celebrations on social media and all those things. Like that's what the guys miss most. And that's the most difficult piece of this is like, you can't fake that. You know what I mean? There's no way to, you know, use your imagination or, you know what I mean? Like you really need to be there. And that's the hardest part for our guys. But, you know, we're trying our best to just stay connected with them. You know, they got nowhere to go. So, you know, they got to answer their phone. So we're trying to do that as much as we possibly can and just, you know, try to keep them part of it as best we can.